Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Daily News Analysis by Tathastu ICS. Good morning, Mohit. Okay, good morning, Dipesh. So, we are going to see the news articles for the day, okay, for the 18th April 2026. And if you have any doubt, please let me know. We will be discussing after the session, okay? So, you will get this PDF in the description box, right? And end of the day, you will be getting it in the Telegram channel as well. You can scan this QR code and join our Telegram channel for the further details, okay? If you have any doubt regarding any other topic previously that we have discussed, you can post here, otherwise we will move. Okay. So first we'll go for the first one. Today very small topics only there, not much. So we will be the first one is about the Constitution Amendment Bill that we were talking about, right? Women's reservation and other apart from that, along with that, the delimitation process was also proposed, right? The bill have been not passed, okay. So here the problem is about how it have been cancelled the bill. It was because of the lack of majority. Okay. So we will be studying in detail about this, not about the political agenda or something. We are just going to look into the static part of PS2 polity paper, which is mostly of like, okay, prelims based fact and also how it will be applied in your mains questions, okay. And when it comes to the second, it is women reservation. This editorial is basically about how why women reservation is important and why we should not be rushing into it, and what are all the basic issues that we are facing when it comes to the women reservation, okay. Even though we are having a lot of women population in our women population, but still how we are lacking in this representation, okay. So again, the GS1 society paper when it comes to the women, going to see in that case, okay. Third one is about the Chambal sanctuary, illegal mining that is happening here in Chambal sanctuary. We are just going to see one or two facts about it, okay. So here GS2, because illegal mining, there is governance gap is there, and apart from that, certain facts about the Chambal sanctuary. So for the prelims based MCQs, it will be helping. Okay, shall we move? So the first one is about the Constitution Amendment. So the delimitation have been proposed along with women's reservation, right? So that have been right now, that have not been passed right now, right? So we are not going to, as I have already told you, political agenda we are not going to speak. We are just going to speak the basic static part that has been here. Okay, so for every constitutional amendment bill, to bring it as an act, they need the voting, right? So the majority have to be proposed. So today we are going to see what kind of a majorities that we need, and also what is the procedure of the constitutional amendment. Okay, so in this case, constitution amendment bill, okay, this have when you see the nature of the constitution amendment bill, article 328 have been, sorry, 368, article 368 gives the provision for amending the constitution, right? So with this article, we are just going to amend the constitution. At times, the constitutional amendment is happened either of like the proposal can be in the either of the houses, like be it Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. The starting can be the bill can be like proposed from any of the houses, okay. And if there is any proposal, it can be of government side, where the ministers or the cabinet people who have constitute the government, they can propose this bill. And apart from that, the private members can also propose this bill. You all know what is private member, right? So who is private member? A person who is elected and sitting in the Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha, and they don't have any ministry, so they are the private members, okay. So even they can initiate the constitution amendment bill, and the major thing is about there will be no joint sitting for this Constitution Amendment Bill Act. Okay, so and when it comes to the president can give his assent only, and he cannot withdraw, or he cannot withhold his assent, or he cannot give back the Constitution Amendment Bill. Okay, so here it is about there is no joint sitting, and president obviously have to pass it when the majority, the required majority have been passed. Okay, so these are the major crux of this, the important facts about the Constitution Amendment Bill Act. Okay, bill, how it is been done. Okay, now we are going to see what are all the procedures, what are all the majority that is actually needed. Okay, clear till now? In this things we are not going to see, because it is about how many members have been voted and how many members have not voted. Okay, so this is not important for us. We are just going to see the other thing. Okay, so first thing is about, if you see the majority in India, okay, the parliament, and one more thing, the state legislature cannot propose this Constitution Amendment Bill, it is only by the parliament. Okay, that is also very important. When it comes to the majority, we have certain majorities like simple, okay, absolute, and also effective and special majority. Okay, so these are the certain types of majority that we follow in India. So when it comes to the first one, the simple majority, where we will be having what? So it is only just 50% plus 1. So those who have attempted the parliament on that day present plus voting, okay, the half of them plus 1, they have to be voting it. So that is a special majority. So in case if it is like 200 people came on that day, okay, and the people who are voting is 150 people, okay, so people who have like presented and voting, so 150 divided by 2 plus 1, okay, so this will be our simple majority, like, okay, 50% of present and voting along with 1 extra. Okay, when it comes to the second one, absolute, okay, so when it comes to the absolute, so this is kind of fixed one, where the total strength of the parliament will be the half of the total strength plus 1 will be our absolute majority, okay, where our 543 is made 50% plus 1 is 273 approximate, okay, this is our absolute majority, where for certain like removal of your presiding officers, okay, speaker, deputy speaker, all these people, for removal of them, this will be working upon. Okay. Then when it comes to other types, the next one is about, okay, the next one is about our effective majority, right? So about the effective majority, what it is? So the people, the total strength, okay, minus vacancy, where somebody have not like abstained from the parliament, or people there is certain seats not occupied, okay, we have dismissed them, or there will be something or the other, so there the people, the seat will be empty. Okay, so minus vacancy 50% of it plus 1, where in the 543, for example, if there is 10 vacancy seats, okay, so this will be our effective majority, where actual active persons, active members will be present and voting. So this is what the major thing about the effective majority. Okay, then our next one about the special one, special majority. Here in this case, what we needed was this special majority. Okay, that is why we are talking about this majority types and everything. Okay, so when it comes to special majority, they have different types also in this. Okay, when it comes to the first special majority, it is what we have studied already, absolute, right? Absolute majority plus 2/3 of present and voting is needed. Okay, these two conditions have to be satisfied. Okay, not only one condition. It is like absolute majority and 2/3 of the present and voting, which is very much needed. Okay, so this is first type, and the second type is about, okay, absolute, okay, and two-third of present and voting. And apart from that, for certain areas like where the laws have been altering for the which is related to state legislative or state laws and everything. So at that time we need what? The states ratification also. So half of the states have to ratify this. So there will be second part will be of absolute majority is also important. 2/3 of the present and voting also should be there, and apart from that, half of the states have to rectify this. So this is the second type, and the third type is about, okay, where it is a very constructive one, and it is very concretive one. Okay, why it is concrete? Because here we can achieve this with the majority. Like if you see here, the absolute and the 2/3 of the present and voting will be easily achieved, easily achieved when the ruling party, when the ruling government has this majority, when it comes to these two. And when it comes to the state ratification, only half of the state is needed, right? So if the northern belt or any of the southern belt, they one particular ruling party have that majority in areas, okay, so easily that can also be rectified. When it comes to the third one, the concretive one that we have talked about, here it will be completely of, okay, 2/3 of the total strength. Okay, so in the absolute we need 2/3 of the complete total out of total strength, we need 2/3 of the majority who have voting for it. Okay, so this kind of things will be used, this kind of majority will be used in removal, impeachment of the president, like that. Okay, so these are the types of majority that we are having in India. Just go through it. This is about the political news, but the static part behind this is about the majority, how this constitutional amendment bill have not been passed. Okay, so this is what important for us. Just read about the delimitation. We have discussed about it multiple times, right? So just read about delimitation, and here please have a positive note. The women reservation have not been denied. Okay, instead the women reservation will be taken into the consideration with the new census data. Okay, so that is what the major concern, because sometimes it may seems like people are denying the women's reservation. It is not like that. They are asking for the efficient one, where after the 2026 census which is going to take in, right? So there we will be having the real data, and we will be focusing on that kind of women's reservation, because here if you see, the delimitation and the women reservation will be based upon what? 2011 census, which is quite outdated data, right? Now for foreseeing the data, okay, we will be focusing on the reliable and the updated data. Okay, so which is like 2027 census working upon. If we bring the women's reservation based upon that, that will be more of a quite reliable one. Okay, and if you see why they are pushing it right now, we have already discussed. It is just a vote bank, and also the it is kind of a excuse that they can bring it in front of the people. See, we are going to bring women's reservation, so for that we need delimitation. So this is what the background of it, nothing much more. read about the static part. Here in this we are talking about, okay, so why women's reservation cannot wait any longer. If you see in the real time, okay, women population is nearly half of the population, okay, like literally 50% of women population, they work, okay, be it rural, be it urban. The rural cases we have seen, the women's participation have not been much taken into the consideration. They take care of the household, right, and apart from that they will be taking care of the harvest or the cultivation whatsoever it is. Okay, the agricultural things are being taken care of them, okay, but here we have already discussed about the women's position in the society, where the women's rights regarding to the property, it's been like eventually it have came, right. Earlier they don't have any property rights, but after 1970s they have been provided with the what, this women rights on the property and father's property and everything, right. And so if we see the women's representation, the state of women itself is sometimes it is very vulnerable in the society, okay, because their voice have not been, it have been always having a glass ceiling, okay, be it their promotion, be it their voice, be it their opinions, okay. So when we are looking into this population percentage and when we are looking into the real time participation, okay, there is a lot of gap in that, okay. The gap is huge when it comes to the population and also this their participation, okay. So keeping that in mind, it is necessary and it is important for women to be represented in everywhere, because if you see in the lawmaking, women's state, like in state legislature, it is around 9%. Okay, if you see even in this election campaigns, you can see when they are coming for the campaign, very fewer female candidates will be contesting, right. So and the second one is about the parliament, they have 11 to 14% of representation only. So why so it is happening? One is patriarchal society. Another thing is like about the safety and concerns of the women, because see, it is very easy, very quickly to demean the women, okay. If you want to like insult any women, or if you want to do anything against the women, it is very easy in the society, okay. I'm not complaining about the society, but the perception of always women have to be like safe and secured, and they cannot go for the harder works, right. So these kind of ideas have to be changed, okay. So if this society is bringing and giving so many opportunities as well, but when it comes to the comparison, when the male and the female, are they receiving the equal opportunities, are they receiving the equal pathway, they don't have, okay. So in that case, the patriarchal society, and when it comes to the safety and security of the women, and also the ideologies behind how women will be very sensitive to the things. So these are the things are keeping the structural issues, okay, the structural hurdles that have been provided to the women is showing the less representation and the gap between their participation in the population, okay, clear. Okay, so in this article they have said that ki how important it is and why women have to given the reservation, and like so far, like how far and how speedy things we can do, okay, how fast we can bring the representation that is more needed. So that is what been discussed here, okay. So the reservation for women, when in this case we have to study about Nari Shakti Act also, okay, 2023 one that we have to, sorry, 2023 that we have to read about it here, okay. So when it comes to the reservation for the women, like in the, be it anywhere, okay, be it the lawmaking or the judiciary, okay, even in judiciary we have very less represent women judges, right? In the Supreme Court, CJI, and everywhere, the women representation is very less. So we have to reserve some area, sorry, some number of posts for women where they can be proving their own qualities as well, right? So this is what been told in here, told in this article. It is very important. So women are mostly into, like, they are into the voting capabilities also, right? The population that we have is enough, and their the intellectuality of women, especially in the political spaces and many other spaces, it has been equally participated, but when it comes to the representation, it is little less. So that is one, that is what majorly said from here. Okay. So what is the anticipation, what is the expectation that we can have is, like, we can have more seats for women, that is reserved for women only, okay, in the parliament, okay, which we are expecting like the 33 percentage, okay. And apart from that, the structural hurdles have to be removed, okay. And the more of a women oriented programs and empowering them, so these kind of schemes and programs have to be proposed by the governance, right? So this what told about here. When it comes to the local bodies, see, the representation will be going down and down when it comes to the position they are going up, okay. So it is like somewhere or the other, maybe it is misunderstood, like women cannot handle the high pressured capabilities or any high pressured authoritative things, okay. So this we have to keep that in mind. So working on this, okay, so the democracy, the participation of women in the democracy is huge. So same wise, we have to give one particular update also, where the women will also be contesting, and the women also will be showing their representation, okay. So that is why this reservation is very much important for women. As we are giving out, as we are like keep on giving the women are giving their participation in the economy or society, be it anything, okay. So now the women's state have grown, like, from passive voters to active voters, right? In many cases, like earlier women were taking care of the households, but now in many houses they are like breadwinners also, right? And when we see the managerial capacity, like, though it is patriarchal society, but still in Indian houses, women's management, the financial management and the family management is highly positive, and it is being like women, the head of the family. Sometimes it is women in the Indian households, and they are taking care of well managed family system as well. So here, looking into the women's participation, we have to give in the their proper representation, not only in the parliament, not only in the law making and the implementation, also in the judiciary, in um, every other spaces it is possible, okay. So that is what told in this. Moving on, you just read about it, this will be helpful. These data like 9% in the state legislature and 11 to 14%, all these will be helpful in your mains perspective when it comes to your what education, okay, healthcare. You see, the education major of the teacher is from the female gender, okay. And when it comes to the healthcare, as we have already seen, the Asha, Anganwadi workers are majorly of whom women only. And apart from that, nurses, okay, when it comes to the nurses, it is like majorly of whom the primary caregiver, the primary caretaker will be of always mostly it will be of a women oriented jobs only. So keeping all these in mind, it is important to represent women for bringing out the women's problem, okay. So another part of the society also have to be heard. See, it is not about glorifying women's issue or women's problems alone, okay. It is like every voice of the Indian society have to be heard, okay. Like women, men, transgenders, okay, whomsoever it is, everybody's voice should be heard here. Okay, so that is what the major concern here. Okay, then when it comes to the last one, the Supreme Court warns Rajasthan MP and UP over illegal mining in Chambal Sanctuary. So if you see the Chambal Sanctuary, it is a very unique one. Okay, nothing much about here. It is a tri-state managed sanctuary because it located in the mid of these three states, whereas Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, and also Rajasthan having the area. But the problem here is, okay, within the sanctuary itself, within the Chambal sanctuary itself, the mining is happening. So here the governance gap is keep on persisting because see, in the river areas there won't be much survival. So the sand mining or the in the mountainous area the granite mining will be cannot be at times be monitored effectively. But when it comes to the within the sanctuary itself, the mining is keep on happening. So where we are able to see the governance gap is there, or maybe we can we can guess that there might be a government intervention also when it comes to this mining. Okay, government involvement maybe. I'm not accusing somebody, but it is like another notion of thinking. Okay, so another perspective also. Either the government would not be knowing, or else the government would be involved in this. So Supreme Court have warned right now. We will be seeing about this. Okay, so here location based question can be expected. Okay, so the Gharial Sanctuary, just read about the Gharial Sanctuary's important species. Okay, and the nature of this Chambal Sanctuary where the tri-state nature is here. Okay, so that is what important here from this article, nothing much. Okay. Just read about it and be very aware about its location. Okay, na? So that is what for the day. We have we are concluding this session. If you need any like if you are having any doubt, please let me know, otherwise we will wind up this. Okay, chalo. We will see you in the next session. Till then, take care and keep studying, keep learning. Take care, and all the very best for everyone. Thank you. Have a good day.